Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this pre-event webinar for Britain and Ireland Marketplace this year. I'll just wait for people to enter the room and then we'll get started. Thank you all for signing up for this. Hopefully it will be a useful pre-event webinar, whether or not you've attended one of our events recently or not. As always, please use the chat function or the Q&A in case you have anything that that I'm not covering that I can answer for you. We will do our best to get all the information you need ahead of the event. So yeah, there's just a few more people coming in. It's still only just 5:30. I hope everybody is well. Happy New Year to everybody. I hope everybody is in good health. You should all today have received the invitation to join the appointment system to submit your preferences. So if you haven't already, I'm just sharing the link with you now, so you can do that. I'll be giving a very quick demo of that as part of this webinar. I've just shared the link with you there. This time round, there are a few additional things to take into account for this, which I'll cover shortly. So again, welcome to everybody. Thank you for joining this webinar ahead of Britain and Ireland Marketplace 2022, our UK and Ireland B2B workshop delivered in collaboration with UK Inbound, our partners for this event. And I think on behalf of all of the suppliers throughout the nations, from the perspective of UK Inbound and ETOA, we're grateful for the support that's been provided for the suppliers this year. Obviously, it's an extension from the recovery packages that have been provided. So obviously, great thanks to Tourism Ireland, Visit Britain and Visit England, Visit Scotland and Wales. I think we're all very grateful for them for the support from this. And also welcome to the buyers. The format that we'll be doing for this year, for 2020, will be the in-person edition of the event as well as the online. So we've got a really fantastic combination of buyers attending this event across the two editions on the 28th at the end of this month, and then on the 1st of February for the online edition. So again, do ask any questions if you're still not exactly clear of how this is going to work. You will have access to the appointment system, and given the responses that we've had from all delegates thus far, the way that you will attend will be indicated as a prefix on your company name. So that may be both, as in for both days you'll be attending the in-person day on the 28th and the online edition on the 1st. It may be the online only, or it may be the in-person only. So do make sure to check that and to make sure that it aligns with your expectations of how you're planning on attending. If any of those plans do change, please do let us know as soon as possible. That will allow us to make sure that all of the appointments are nice and balanced, and it's indicated clearly for all of your counterparts to make sure that they can see who they are selecting for which day. So as I said, the appointment system is open. Thank you for those of you who've submitted your appointments thus far. I would encourage everybody, even if you've done that, to check throughout the week. Already today, I think, even for the in-person day, we've had, I think, 6 or 7 in-person buyers being added to the 28th. So it's well worth making sure that if you do your first flush, sooner rather than later, then revisit it perhaps on Friday, just to make sure that the list is still exactly how you want. And that's from both perspectives. We're also doing a last push on the supply side as well. So it's really good to get your appointment preferences in now, but do check them again before the end of the week. Friday is the deadline for the appointment preferences. As well as making sure that we know which day you're going to attend. If you have any time slots that you need blocking, obviously particularly on the online day, that would be very useful to know in advance, so we can block that on your individual schedules and make sure that you're not assigned. That's much easier to do in advance of the event, and when we run the algorithm, to make sure that they're blocked and we don't have to unpick any work that's done. So on the Friday the 28th, for those of you joining us in person, we will be at the Intercontinental O2, which is the nearest stop to that is North Greenwich. I should be sending in the next few days some accommodation offers at that venue or nearby, in case you want to stay over the night before or the night of. On the Friday itself, we'll be starting, so if your registration starts at 8, so I'd recommend 8:30 for a 9 o'clock start. That's when the appointments will be running, and we go to 5:30 on the in-person day, and we'll have a drinks reception after we've finished, which will close the week. And then on the online day, we will be starting at 9 o'clock until 17:26. So it's not a crazy long day for any of those who joined us last year on the 30th of November at relaunch. It's a manageable one. We've got lots of buyers coming from not only the UK, Europe, but also from North America as well. So we'll have a good amount of time in the afternoon to connect with those from that market. As I said, let us know if you want any time blocked on either the in-person day if you're going to arrive late or need to leave a bit earlier, or indeed on the online day if you already have some pre-scheduled meetings, etc. then. So as I said, drop any questions that you have into the chat. Without further ado, I will just share my screen and give you a quick walk through the appointment management system. I think this will be very familiar to a lot of people, but as I said, there are probably a few changes and a few particular things for this edition that need to pay particular attention of. So we've tried to make these instructions as clear as possible. Obviously, depending on how you attend, you'll need to make sure that you're only selecting the people who are also attending on that basis. So I would recommend that you make sure that you align which version you're going to and then read down as to what preferences and who you should be picking. So I am signed up here as my colleague Rasheen. I will just log in. And here again are some instructions of how best to use the filters to really drill down onto the list of the people who are attending. So you can do that, and I will just do a very quick introduction of these here as well. So obviously I'm here as a buyer, so the people I can see are suppliers. If you're the other way around, you'll see the alternate version of this information presented. So you can use these to really drill down onto where the product is that you're looking for, what type of product it is. As I said, I'm here as a buyer, so if I can put this and it will align with the markets and categories that you represent as a buyer and those suppliers who are looking for that kind of product. So, or if you know who you're looking for, you can just use the search company and find those people on the list. This list will be changing throughout the week, so as I said, make sure to check back to make sure that you haven't missed anybody who you'd like to be matched with. On here, you'll see the prefixes. We've done this to make it as clear as possible for you. So if you're attending both days, you can select anybody on this list. If you're online only, you can do both days or the people listed as online only. If you're at the in-person event, likewise, you can pick in-person or both. So hopefully that's not too confusing, but if you're attending both days, please make sure to make you have a nice balance across the two. Also, if you're in person, obviously only put across the people who are in person or on the online day. Otherwise, it will just be a completely wasted preference selection because they won't be assigned because you're not available on that given day. So you can drill down the list. Once you've found somebody who might be of interest, you can click view and see a little overview of the company, the website, if you want to do a bit more information, personal message of their what they're trying to achieve at this event, and then the descriptions as well. You want to add them onto your preference list, and then on that list, once they're on there, 0 to 16, you need to put that in order of preference, 1 being your top preference. That's very important. We don't want to see anybody submitting preferences in alphabetical order. They really need to be in your order of preference because that's how the algorithm assigns them. So they'll be based on both your selections and the selections of your counterparts as well. So on an equal basis, those preferences are assigned. That's why we ask to make sure that you provide us with as clear information as possible about what you're looking for and who you are, because that is then mirrored with the people who are looking to meet with you as well. So those will, as I said, be combined. Do come, so you can refresh and submit as many versions, and the last version you submit before the end of the week will be your final one. So you'll do that, and then we'll close on Friday and run the appointments. We'll start assigning them based on those preferences, and then about the week before the event, we'll be sending out a provisional list, which you'll be able to review and start planning for your meetings. And then just before the events, we'll be sending out the final ones, and that will be to cover both the in-person day, where we'll print a final agenda for you ready at the venue, and then on the online day via Celestina, we'll be sending you an email to log into the Celestina platform. Once you drop in that confirmation code, your meetings will start in accordance with your agenda automatically. So we'll send some information about making sure that your system is all set up. We recommend to use kind of a fixed laptop computer or desktop computer. We're not really yet optimized for either mobile or tablet use for this platform. So it's really best if you have a space set aside for that. And it's useful just to check in advance in case you're using a secure corporate network that might have the platform blocked. But we've got plenty of tools that can help iron out any potential issues in advance. So we'll be sending some information about that in advance, and we can jump on a line on a test call as well if you need that. So as I said, you should all receive this. If you haven't yet, I've sent the link. Just get in touch if you need your confirmation number. If you haven't seen anything, maybe just check your spam boxes. If you are having a secondary delegate attend with you, at the moment, for the time being, it's all down to you as a primary delegate to make your selections, and you'll be the main person that we're communicating with at this point. Not until later, when we've assigned the meetings and we're printing them out. And for the online day, will we then communicate with your secondaries? So just in case you're sharing with a mixed objectives across this, make sure to liaise with them directly about who you're putting on your preference list, just in case they want any input on your selections. So as I said, I hope that's clear. Friday the 14th is the deadline for that. So we've got 5 working days or just under now. Make sure to check back throughout the week. Let me just check. Oh, with the accommodation offers, I've literally just been sent the link from the venue. So I will try and get those ready by the end of today and send those out to everybody involved. That's in response to Tim's question there. I will be sending a recording of this around as well, so maybe I'll combine the 2 communications as well. So unless any of my colleagues want to raise their hands and pose any questions that I've missed or make any points that I've missed, or I'll just hand over to those of you in the audience in case you have any questions. You will have seen from the email I sent last week that we will be checking everybody's COVID pass. So for England and Wales, you can use the domestic one, and with the app that we're using to scan, we can do the international passes for Scotland, Northern Ireland, and of course the Republic of Ireland as well, anybody coming from further afield. So we'll be scanning those on entry, and we'll be asking that everybody's wearing masks throughout the day during the event. Obviously, we want to make everybody as comfortable and as safe as possible throughout the workshop. Just a question about blocking some time off. Could you please email us directly with the support email that you'll have received your agendas from? So support@celestina.travel. If you could just drop the times you need blocking off to that person, to Vita working at Celestina, then she'll be able to block you off there. And then you won't be assigned any appointments for that time, which makes it a lot easier. If you are attending, sorry, Paul, I don't quite understand your question. You'll be already assigned based on the days that you've got in terms of any blocking that's required. With regards to what that means when you go to make your preferences, obviously, if you're attending both days, then you're in the best position because you can pick anybody from your lists across. We just ask that you do a good balance across the days. That's got it almost self-driven, so I will just share my screen again to go over that just for clarity's sake. On here is a list of all of your counterparts, notwithstanding what days they're on. So we wanted people to have visibility to make sure they knew who was attending from all sides, just in case they wanted to change their mind, which indeed is possible this week. If that's something you need to do, obviously just use that email address that I quoted to let us know. If you're attending both days, then it's basically just as normal. You'll just pick anybody from this list and add it to your preferences and assign. For people who are attending in person, for instance, don't select anybody that's listed as online only, because they won't be available on the same day. So it's just working out, and I think as I said on here, I think that the easiest way before you go on to submit your preferences is just using this table here, where you can see who you are and what you should be picking and what you're due in terms of the number of preferences and who you should be picking. So I would take that on and only focus on the direct instructions that are provided just there for that. Okay. Good question, Claire. So for this event, the buyers are seated throughout the day. So the desks will be static and the suppliers will meet them. So upon registration, when everyone comes in, obviously have your COVID pass ready, we'll scan those. Buyers can go directly upstairs into the room where you'll be given your desk and everything will be available on your desk. As a supplier, you'll be then moving around the room in accordance with the agendas and the announcements that we make. So the buyers are seated at this event. And let me just check. I will share the email address now just so that you have it. It is support@celestina.travel, but I will just share that now in the chat. Yes, if you want to add any secondaries, then do let us know. Indeed, in case you have any colleagues who want to come as another primary, we're always keen to have as many buyers as possible to make sure that you can be as exposed to as many of the suppliers as possible. If you're a supplier who wants to bring a colleague or indeed shared, also just get in touch and we can arrange that for you to get those registered up. Ian, I'm going to reach out to you directly via an email, or maybe I'll get my colleague Rasheen to do that, and she can talk you through how the best approach to take for your product. As I said, I will stay on just in case there are any further questions. But we are definitely looking forward to. We've been working very hard to make sure that we can make this as an accessible and enjoyable event as possible. Obviously, it would have been the easy option to do this online as online only, but we know there's a huge demand, particularly in the UK, to get back face to face as much as possible. So we've got the best of both worlds in the fact that we'll be together in London at the end of this month, and then we're really making the most of the buyers that we've gathered, particularly attending our events since they've been online in the last 2 years. We'll give them opportunity to participate as well on the 1st. So if any of you are still on the fence, I would urge you to come and join us on the day. Hopefully we're over the worst of the peak at the moment, and as I said, hopefully you're assured of the precautions that we're putting in place. With regards to Mercedes' question, at the moment, it's always done by the company name. If there's a breakdown that you want to specify in terms of there's a difference in the product, then we can add that next to the name, but we don't do the preferences based on names from the off. just looking up your question, Tim, on the top of my head, I can't remember. But it will say on that landing page as you get on there. So, so if you are a supplier going both days, you will have 15, and you want to break those down across the 2 days. Any more questions? Of course, if you have any questions that dawn on you after, either email me at awiltshire@etoa.org or the support@celestina.travel. We'll be sending out the recording of this and then the accommodation deals later today. So thank you everybody for joining, and we'll look. Oh no. Good question, Claire. So it will actually depend on which day you're attending. So Claire is asking the duration of the meetings. On the in-person day, we've got 12-minute meetings. So we're going to have 32 pre-scheduled appointments and I think 4 open networking meetings, as I said, of 12 minutes in duration. And then on the online day, the meetings of 10 minutes in duration with a 1-minute pause between each. There's a few more breaks in that one, and then that takes us up to 30 appointments. So throughout the 2 days, we've got 62 scheduled appointments plus the 4 open networking appointments. Yeah, and Vita's just had a much better answer to that question that was posed. Okay, as I said, thank you very much, and we'll look forward to seeing you in a few weeks' time in London or indeed online. Thanks very much. Have a good afternoon.